184 pounds, another really fun weight class, one that has one of the more exciting #1 seeds in the country, and it's Parker Keckeisen from UNI. And he has just put together a fantastic season, start to finish. He won Vegas. He won a loaded Big 12s. He was dominant in the Big 12 final against the really tough Dustin Plott, who's put together a great year for himself. So going to get into who I think is going to win this weight class, how I think it's going to play out from start to finish. And this weight doesn't have the depth of a 157 necessarily, but it's pretty deep. There's a lot of really good guys. There have been some new names that have emerged and become contenders, and we're going to get into all those guys. But at the top, I got to pick Parker Keckeisen to win this weight. There's nothing you've seen. He may not win this, right? But there's nothing we've seen this year that would make any other pick make sense. You could say, oh, yes, you know, Salazar or Plott, or you could say, you know, Bernie Truax. But there's nothing we've seen this year that would say anyone other than Parker's going to win this weight. From dominance and scoring and ways to score and momentum at the conference tournament, everything points to Parker. So he's my pick. He's the pick to win. He's the best guy at this weight class. He's had the best year. But the best guys don't always win. You need to remember that. So before you start, you know, putting it in ink, I'm writing this one in pencil. Parker Keckeisen, national champion. Now here's his path. Will Feldkamp, I think he'll have him in round 2. Will Feldkamp was an All-American last year, and he's a pinner. But Parker has shown he's got an advantage over him. And then the quarterfinal, I think it's going to be Bennett Berge. Could be Sam Wolf, probably someone from the Big 12. Berge's had a really good year. He had a tough match against Dustin Plott in the duel. He's got some nice wins. But I think Parker beats him. And then who Parker faces in the semi is interesting, because it could be Munoz, it could be Pinto, it could be someone like Jaden Bullock from Michigan, a guy who no one was talking about coming into this year, and we weren't really sure if he was going to be Michigan's starter. And it turns out now when I see the starter, he's a threat to All-American for the Wolverines. But I think it's going to be Lenny Pinto who beats Trey Munoz, Munoz being the 4 seed, to make that semifinal bout where he falls to Parker Keckeisen. Parker's beaten him this year, I believe, at Vegas. So that's a coin flip match, though. Pinto and Munoz could go either way. I think Pinto beat him at Vegas. A lot of these guys were at Las Vegas, so you'll hear me reference Cliff King Las Vegas tournament throughout this review, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, predictions, just because so many of those guys were all there. But again, it's Parker. A couple early round matches. Keep an eye on Pinto Bullock round 2. That was a really close match at Big Tens, but watching it, I didn't really see where Bullock ever had a good opportunity to score. He made it hard for Pinto to score on him, but I wasn't sure how Bullock was ever going to score on him. And another interesting early round match is Bullock versus Brian Soldano. Soldano, I mean, he's crazy. He can pin just about anyone. So Bullock has to be aware in that matchup. So not a lot of drama in this top half, as far as I can tell. Bottom half, we could see some chaos here. I think we really could. Looking at Dustin Plott versus Chris Foca round 2. Foca is someone that coming into this year, when we found out he was going 184, I was like, man, he might be a title contender here. It has not played that way for Chris Foca, but the skill is still there. This guy's really tough on top. He can scramble. He can generate. Can he generate enough against Dustin Plott? He's going to have to win. If he beats Dustin Plott, he's going to win one big exchange that's like not just a takedown exchange. It's got to be probably takedown into near fall type of situation. He's going to have to get a big chunk of points against Plott, because Plott is good for 2-3 takedowns against just about everyone in America save Parker Keckeisen. So Plott, Foca, if you're looking for an upset alert early on, it could be that one, but I have Plott winning that one. I just have a really high opinion on the season Plott's had. But as I say that, look at Bernie Truax out of the 6th seed. He's rounding into form, and I think he gets this done against Dustin Plott. I think you got 2 guys that are really dynamic leg attackers. I like that. Plott is not the Salazar's a big, bruising, physical guy, kind of like Pinto, kind of like Parker even. Plott is super slick to the leg. Can he beat up Bernie Truax? I'm not as sure. I think Truax will be able to get to his single leg and maybe give some issues from the top position. So that's my upset I'm calling. This is a tough path for Plot. Going through Foca and Truax, that's not easy. That's a challenging path for Dustin Plot. He could run it and make the final. There's no question about it. Dustin Plot has that ability. But I think Truax beats him, makes that semi. So let's look down below. If you're looking for another surprise potential semifinalist, finalist, look at TJ Stewart. I mean, you look at how his year started. Don't look at that. Don't look at that part. Don't look at the first Gavin Kane match either. Do not look at that. Look at the last month or so. He's beaten Dylan Fishback twice, and he looks like he's getting better every single time out. Now, what are the questions with TJ? We know he can take down just about anyone, right? We know he's really good on his feet. He's hard to get to, and he can generate. He can fire powerful double to single and finish. He lifts you up, puts you down. It's nice. He's got really good re-attacks as well. 7 minutes. That's been a challenge. If you want to go back to some of his earlier matches, 7 minutes can be a challenge for him. But I think TJ is going to wrestle Dylan Fishback again in round 2. I think he'll win again. He's won twice sort of dominantly, and the second time was more dominant than the first, I believe. So I think he does that. And then he's got Isaiah Salazar. I think it'll be Salazar. Salazar's got to get by Rogotsky, but I think it's going to be Salazar. Didn't quite pull the trigger here for TJ over Salazar, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did it. But Salazar, the Big Ten champ, he's looked awesome this year. He's the complete package. Great hand fighter, great from the top position, good from neutral. I mean, we just saw him beat Bernie Truax. The Penn State track record in these semifinal bouts cannot be ignored. If Bernie's there, it was an overtime loss against Salazar. I think he reverses that decision and makes the NCAA finals. But I think Parker is going to get it done there. But if you remember, go back to that All-Star match between Bernie and Parker. Crazy close match, crazy close. And for that reason, I think you can't dismiss Bernie in that matchup. He got the first takedown in that bout. But the pressure and the motion and the relentless onslaught of attacks, that's still going to be there. And Bernie's still going to have to deal with that. And I don't know if he can deal with it for 7 minutes against Parker. And not like he can't hold up for 7 minutes. It's just from a probability standpoint, as much as Parker attacks, and he seems to be able to attack with impunity, like he doesn't get countered, he doesn't get re-attacked, right? He attacks and he either scores or no one scores. So I think with that much offense, Parker's going to get the takedowns he needs to win this match. But Penn State fans should not be surprised to see Bernie in the finals. And if he wins, you know, it's Penn State. They do things like that often. I do feel confident Bernie does place, but I think no further than second. But can't rule out much in this weight class. But I've got 184's third placer. I got Dustin Plot beating Salazar. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't have a lot of confidence in that one. I think both of them could win that match. That could be the semi too, right? That could be a semifinal match, not a third place bout. I've got Plot winning it. I've got Pinto over Munoz again, and I've got Berge over Bullock for 7th place. Here's my round of 12. I've got Munoz over Fishback. I've got Berge over Chris Foca. That could be interesting. Foca, he's got a long road back if he loses to Plot. He'll have to go through Jacob Nolan, Colton Hawks, and then Bennett Berge in all likelihood. That's a tough road back. Foca can do it though. I wouldn't rule it out. I still believe in his talent. Bullock over Stewart is a round of 12 match. So I am high on TJ Stewart, but if he doesn't make that semi, I think the Bullock matchup is tough for him because I think he can counter some of where TJ's dangerous, and I think he can win kind of an ugly sort of one takedown or a ride out or kind of match, but maybe not. There's a real chance TJ Stewart places as a freshman here for the Hokies. And then Plot over Malshewski in the round of 12 there. So great weight. I don't have the strongest of feelings on this one, but I do know that Parker Katkeisen has been start to finish the best 184 in the country.